delving deeper than ever before into the storied production of Star Trek's triumphant return to television in 1987. Turning back the wheels of time, we find a 1987 on the brink of collapse. Queen Denmark of France had been assassinated by the world's strongest man, and the world stood on the precipice of despair until Gene Roddenberry unleashed his new show onto the world. So I bring you facts so extreme that you'll no doubt lose your grip on reality as you learn what really happened. Make sure you stay tuned to the end. I guarantee you will find these facts unbelievable. And now on some facts that you didn't even know about Encounter at Farpoint. It was during the production of this debut episode of Star Trek Next Generation that the worst thing possible that could happen to a lady happened to Gatesmuck something. As she stood on the set for the first time in her new uniform, with the eyes of the actors and producers all on her, the cameras were ready to roll. Suddenly her hair burst. Not realizing at first what had happened, she heard gasps from the cameramen and the other dregs of society that were in the room watching, seeing this tragedy play out in front of them. Her buttery life flashed before her as Rick Berman allegedly sank to his knees, thumping the floor with his mucky fist, shouting, "Why, God, why?" Thankfully, only an hour and a half later, things had been mostly rectified and the production continued, but no one in the studio that day. No one would soon forget this dramatic incident. The original actor to play Wesley Crusher was possibly young Bowman Peter Pandy, who was unfortunately disfigured during an agricultural accident at the farm where he lived. Desperately scrambling for a last-minute replacement for the 6-year-old, the only other actor available was the teenager Wheaton, who would almost immediately cause friction with the rest of the Hensing actors. It was an even split of some of them finding him cute and adorable, and the others finding him vapid, unpalatable, and insidious. The Worf actor reportedly said that for the first time of him seeing the crybaby spaz, he knew that working with him would be an absolute nightmare. Tempers flared when the Riker actor arrived for his first day of filming with a full manly beard. Horrified that this was not in his vision of a commander of the 24th century, Gene Roddenberry had to do something about it. Assuming that asking the actor nicely to get rid of it just wouldn't work, Roddenberry supposedly screamed and swore at Fraker, spittle erupting from his mouth in a fountain of rage. "Get that hairy shit off your face," he possibly rasped, leaving the actor shocked to the core. It was at this point that Fraker promised himself that he'd stay clean-shaven for exactly a year, no matter what.
A fairly routine maneuver, but you handled it quite well. Thank you, sir.
One thing that springs to mind when thinking of Encounter at Farpoint is Groppler Zorn, possibly played with unholy relish by actress Michael Douglas. The Groppler character would be a resounding success with a legion of slippery fans all around the world. As popular as the character was, though, no one had checked his allergies before placing the character in a scene with several different fruits. Breaking out in pussy rectangles, he reacted badly to the healthy fruit, leading to his clothing design needing to be updated quickly to cover the oozing pustules. Thick flowing robes were thrown together onto the suffering Groppler, which answers the commonly asked question of exactly why Groppler Zorn is dressed in such an attractive way. Turning up for his first day of filming as bald as a coot, The data robot actor, Spiner, was possibly told by the Crucid producers to either quickly grow some hair or to go and buy a tough guy wig from the Hollywood wiggers on 5th and Maple. Arriving at the studio at the last minute, the expensive wig was placed on the actor's head. A head that was slathered with shiny makeup, which led to the hairpiece slipping off twice during the filming of the first scene. It wasn't in the script for his hair to fall off, but thankfully the boffins in the makeup department had just the solution. By simply adding a smear of mustard to the head, the metabolic proteins in the makeup bonded quickly with the mustard, creating a frictious compound, a foolproof way of keeping the attractive wig in place. The original actress for the role of Tasha Yar, Angela Lansbury, was still walking awkwardly after her recent part in an adult movie. Her strange walk was so off-putting to everyone that she was warned that if she didn't walk properly within a couple of hours, the production would have to go ahead with the second choice actress, Denise Crosby. If anything, the walk was even worse an hour later, as the soreness hadn't waned, and so she was dismissed on the spot, told to never ever come back to the studio again, no matter what. She must have learned her lesson, as there are exactly 0 adult films on her resume from 1987 onwards. You are no doubt wondering what kind of stupid name Groppler Zorn is. The genesis of the popular name's creation goes back to transatlantic roots. Groppler, in Indo-Greek Germanic phraseology, means to interfere or to banish, and Zorn has absolutely negative connotations. In original Spanish, Groppler Zorn translates directly as earthen breast, while in Argentinian it means to clean a worm. The Danish meaning of the name is the man who flashes, while the Estonian translation is burned herring. Whatever the language, we can all agree that Groppler Zorn is one of the best and most iconic characters of all time in science fiction. Things reached boiling point at the studio during the production of Encounter at Farpoint, when one of the large space jellyfish lifeform puppets became seriously damaged by mistake. The data robot actor, Spiner, had been eating his delicious curry at the time, not realizing that the massive sheet puppet was draped across the ground by him. The orange and brown splodges that dripped all over the expansive puppet were removable, and so if you're watching this episode and wonder why the space jellyfish smells the way it does, now you know. Did you realize that before this episode, there were no Next Generation episodes featuring Q? Q was introduced in Encounter at Farpoint. Now, the tranquility on screen wildly differed from the antagonism on set. Q actor John Delancey argued that the character should be called D, the same as his middle name, and not Q. Anger subsided when Rick Berman explained to the possibly French actor that the upcoming Season 4 episode Cupid wouldn't work as a pun with the letter D instead. If it was called D-Pid and not Cupid, that would be a terrible episode name. The realization of the genius of the name Q slowly dawned on Delancey until he was brimming with enthusiasm to be called Q.
Then it was a pair of creatures I was sensing. One down there, in grief and pain.
If there's one thing that this episode is guilty of, it's this one thing that the episode is guilty of. The very invention of bungee jumping. Ever since this episode, millions of people across hundreds of sites around the world have enjoyed the perilous and possibly dangerous sport of bungee jumping, many of them not living to tell the tale. I hope these people were safe in their knowledge, but their doom was brought about by such a hensing episode. Thanks ever so much for checking out my super interesting facts about the very first episode of Star Trek Next Generation. Please subscribe to the channel and check back weekly for more facts about Star Trek Next Generation. And comment below if you have any more facts about this episode that I didn't even know. Bye now!